Is Shopify's Meta app stealing your money? You've probably heard the hype. Third-party tracking apps like Elevar, Little Data, and WeTrack claiming they'll 2x your ROAS overnight. Here's what nobody tells you. Shopify's native Meta integration already has a maximum data sharing option that sends customer names, emails, phone numbers, and browsing behavior directly to Facebook. So why are thousands of stores paying 50 to 300 plus per month for these tracking apps? Are they complete scams taking advantage of confused store owners? Or is there actually a hidden world of data that Shopify's integration is missing? Data that could be costing you thousands in lost sales. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when a customer clicks your ad and makes a purchase. We'll compare what Shopify's free Meta app tracks versus what these premium tools actually capture, and the results might shock you. By the end, you'll know exactly whether you need to use these expensive tracking tool solutions or if you're just throwing money away. The truth is, for some stores, Shopify's native tracking is perfectly fine. But for others, that missing data could be the difference between scaling to 7 or 8 figures or staying stuck at your current revenue. Let's dive in. First, let's analyze how Meta Shopify app actually works. It's this app right here. You go into sales channels and you download it, you install it like every other app, click inside, you connect your Facebook page, and it's going to automatically create a catalog for you. It's going to create a pixel and everything, connect a pixel and connect everything. So the process is fairly simple. Now, you have seen a lot of guides that they tell you to go in settings, and here, after you have done all that, you are good to go. But you probably have seen many different guides that actually shows you that you have to go into settings, and here where it says share data, to change it to maximum. Those are the three options, and you always have to click maximum. What that actually does, it is basically maximizing the data that you are going to get inside your events manager. If you go into your Facebook ad account and you click event manager, and after that you go to data sources, you are going to see all the events that are being tracked through this app. If you select maximum, you're going to see more events here. The match quality here is going to be higher. You're going to receive more data inside your funnel, and it's going to eventually be much better than selecting any other tool. And when I mean data, I mean add to cart, page view, and most importantly, purchase. But why Meta actually created this app to begin with? In the past, you could use customer events. You could add just a pixel right here. The reason Meta created this app is to have server-to-server integration with Shopify. Because after the iOS update, you probably seen, if you were running ads at that time, you probably seen that there was a big dip in performance. Why this happened? It happened because the web-based tracking stopped working for almost all iOS devices. And that actually affected performance, because when you have minimal data to target with, when Facebook doesn't actually have data on who to target, it's going to be much harder for Facebook to find the right people to target. And that actually affected a lot. So the solution that Meta actually introduced is the server-to-server integration, which means that instead of just tracking the pixel, basically the cookie, that you go from web page to web page, they've actually created a server-to-server integration, and this app facilitates that basically. So Meta, using this app, they take all the data from Shopify directly, from the servers of Shopify, and they give it back to Meta. That's why when we go into the events manager, you're going to see that there is a match quality. What is the match quality? It's basically the events that have been tracked using the web integration and the server-to-server integration. And if those two match, event match quality is going to be high. If they don't match, it's going to be low. And as you can see, if you were doing just the web integration, you would have lost a lot of data. And this is in general how it works. A customer actually visits your web page, add to carts, and then buys. Meta is firing pixels for every single one of those events based on the browser pixel. They also see those events that are being tracked through Shopify servers, because Shopify knows what is happening inside their store, they know every single detail. So they take those two information and they combine the two together and they send it back into the events manager, which is here. This actually helps the performance of the campaigns, because it's much easier for Meta to identify who your customer is, so they can target people that look like your customer that just bought. So it helps a lot, Meta. Not only for reporting, just to see good numbers inside the ad account, but also to perform better It's not about reporting, it's about targeting. So you are going to get, of course, event duplication, better at targeting, as I mentioned, and improved attribution. Of course, the metrics are going to be better because you are going to have better reporting for your ads. And the event mounts quality that you are going to typically get is 6.5 to 7. Now, what tools like Little Data, WeTracked, or Elevar do differently? They basically do the exact same thing that Meta app actually does, which is what I showed you right here. They essentially track the customer, track the browser, pixel files, they track the Shopify server to server, and instead of the Meta app actually sending the data back to Meta, this tool gathers all this information and sends it back to Meta. And they also have a nice interface so you can see that, so you can connect everything together and you can see an overview of the results, which is something that you can see from your Shopify dashboard directly. So what is the difference actually? Because you have probably seen ads like this.
Change their ads. They fix the one thing that quietly destroys most ad accounts: broken tracking. The real problem isn't about your creatives or your media buyer. It's that Meta and Google are flying blind. Up to 60% of your conversions vanish thanks to iOS updates, cookie restrictions, and ad blockers. You're feeding starving algorithms junk data and wondering why ROAS sucks. Luckily for you, WeTrack.io flips the game. It captures every conversion server-side, even the ones blocked, enriches the data, and force feeds it back into Meta, Google, and TikTok. The algorithm finally sees the full picture and performs like it should have all along, which results in ad costs dropping by up to 64%. Campaigns that bled money.
Yeah, anyway, you get the point. Those services run so many ads. As I've already showed you, with the server side connection, and especially if you add maximum, you're already getting the sales that have been probably blocked by iOS update or by the blockers, by the ad blocks. So what is the difference? Are they all scams? And no, they're actually not. Claiming that they serve the server-to-server side integration, it's misleading because already you do that probably if you have a Shopify store. So you have copy, but the data that they provide are much more accurate than what Meta actually does. And it's not my opinion or their claims. I have seen it in many ad accounts, especially on high spends. There is a difference between what is being tracked through WeTrack or Little Data or Elevar and what we were tracking with the Facebook app. Why Meta's app doesn't have that complete integration that captures everything? I don't know why they don't. I know the results. I know that when you use actually those tools and you have high spends, you are going to see an increase. You probably are not going to see like a 3 ROAS or 4 ROAS when you were seeing like 1 ROAS by using Meta, but even a 20% increase in the tracking that you are going to see, it's going to have a big impact in your sales because the targeting is going to be much, much better and it's going to improve your ad results. Not by a lot, like 10, 20, 30%, but still. So let's analyze why this happens though. Why Meta doesn't track, what Meta actually tracks, and what the other tools track. So you can understand how the mechanism works, so you can decide for yourself if you need to use those tools or not. Let's go with an example because I don't want to go into details. I'm not a developer. Let's say we have Sarah and Sarah visits our website. What Meta app is going to track is those events right here. If you're using a tool like the tools that I mentioned, you're going to track all this information about Sarah, which is good, especially for the page view, because here we're at the page view. When Sarah actually visits a product, we're going to track the product ID, the name, the price, and some basic user data. With advanced apps, you are going to not only track what Sarah actually sees, but more information about the product and information about her customer behavior. We go into the add to cart and you can see here we already have some data, and here you get the point. Like you get also the device, you get also the time intervals, you get the journey states that she's in. So you acquire much more data for this particular client if you're using an app. And of course, when she actually makes a purchase, you not only see the amount that she actually spent, her email, her address, you are going to see a discount that she might have gotten, her LTV, which is super useful for Meta to process and target people better, and a whole lot more. And all those data are going to send back to Meta, so Meta can target and optimize the campaigns much, much better. So the reporting is going to be better, and the performance of the ads is going to be better as well, which are the main things that you need, especially if you run Facebook ads. Should you use those tools though? Because some of those tools can get very expensive. For example, if you're using Aimers, you are going to pay $300 per month just to get started, and you're actually getting charged for extra orders. And if you use Elevar, you start with $200 per month. The improvement that they are going to make on your ad account need to justify their cost. So I did an analysis right here to show you. For example, if you use those tools, you have an expected metric attribution of about 20%. And this, I would say that it is going to bring you, because the targeting is going to be better on your ads, you probably are going to see a 10 to 15 increase in revenue increase max. Let's do an analysis. If you have at least $5,000 that you spend on ads, the 50% increase is going to be $1,500 extra. So the cost for an expensive tool, even for aimers, it's going to get covered, especially if your margins are above 50%, because the cost of each tool you use, you have to subtract it not from the sales, but from the profits. If you are on a low spend, as you can see here, if you spend just $1,000 and you generate $2,000, a 10% increase, it's going to be $200. And if we calculate also the profits that you have, you are going to be in the red just by starting with those tools. Now for final thoughts. Those tools can help you with other things, like if you want to exclude the B2B orders, or if you want to have better tracking, it's going to help you. But I'm talking about the improvement in performance that WeTrack with their ads actually claim, and all those tools actually claim. I would propose to you, if you have high spends, yes, try them out. I have seen them work in action. If you're on low spends, I would definitely suggest you not going for Aimers, which is super expensive and it's going to be hard to cover the costs, or get Elevar, which is also very expensive. I would prompt you to use either Little Data, where you can actually pay per order, or the subscription is actually much lower than all the other tools, or WeTracked, where you can actually pay to start with just $45. So use them. They are very easy to implement. Use them and see for yourself if you actually get an ROI back. If not, it's going to be very easy for you. Just close your subscription and reinstall this app right here, which is going to be essentially free. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm John. I manage $1 million per month on ads, and I have nothing to sell you.